sometimes I need to print long props, like guns or swords, that kind of stuff. So I decided to buy a belt printer. That fantastic printer, the 3D print mill that Naomi Wu developed together with Creality, wasn't available yet, so I had to find something else. I found the Powerbelt3D. I ordered it as an early bird. It took a long time to get here due to COVID and all sorts of other problems. Anyway, when I got it, I was really disappointed. The design is, I can't imagine anybody designing a printer like that. I'm sorry, no. So this is the story of me trying to fix that. And I'm getting there. I'm not finished yet, but I'll show you what I've got so far. There's supposed to be a belt across the heat bed here. And basically it's a CoreXY design. Of the motion system using V-slot wheels in the ubiquitous V-slot and these standard end stops and so forth. But unfortunately I'm taking it apart again because the motion system or the CoreXY system is completely flawed and badly designed. None of the belts are parallel. I don't know if you can see it on this here, and the top you'll probably be able to see it. None of the belts are parallel that need to be parallel. There's no way to adjust the wheels, and there's no excenter at all. And there's also no way of adjusting the tension of the belts. So basically it's a V6 and E3D V6 clone with a Mark 8 nozzle, but of course the thread inside the nozzle isn't long enough, so the heat sink or heat brake screws all the way into the heat block, meaning that little heat gap that there is, that very tiny narrow bit, doesn't work. And also it screws into the heat sink with only 2 or 3 threads, so there's hardly any heat transfer to the cooling fins. Okay, the nut does help a little bit, but not enough. So I'm expecting a lot of leaks there, and I'm expecting a lot of jams because of heat creep. Of the whole CoreXY design, the thing that bugs me the most is this little detail. There's a belt going inside the profile and it rubs against the V-slot wheel. I don't understand how you can design that. I really don't. So what am I doing about it? Well, 1, I'm going to change the CoreXY system. 2, I'm going to add open build standard wheels. All the wheels are standard, but excenter and spacers. 3, I'm going to try and change the heat, the hot end, make it actually work. And 4, yeah, the belt, I haven't even talked about the belt yet, but that'll come a little bit later. This is the overall new design. I've placed the belts on top, which makes it easier to assemble, but also it gives you the freedom to put the things correctly. For instance, these belts are now parallel, as are these. They weren't before. This belt is going to be slightly angled. On the design it's straight, but the pulley isn't correct at the top. It's going to be slightly angled, but because the distance between the pulley and the stepper doesn't change, that doesn't matter. It's the moving parts that need to be parallel, and they are. I made new little clamps for the belts. I've made a mounting bracket for a belt chain, drag chain if you want. And I also made a mount on the other side for the drag chain to be mounted onto, but I'm not going to use it because I already cut my cables too short to do it.
Okay. The other thing I needed to change was the V6 holder. I needed to put a little cutout for the wheel because these wheels have now come closer, or at least the plate has come down, so closer to the wheel. And I needed to design a new end stop holder for the X and for the Y. And finally, I made new stepper mounts. I had to move the steppers up, of course, but I also moved the bolt that holds it down so it's accessible, meaning you can loosen it, tighten the belts now, and then tighten the bolt again. So all in all, this is a much cleaner design. To make this happen, I've designed some drill jigs, top corner drill jig and the Y corner drill jig. These drill jigs, they fit inside the existing holes and allow you to drill the new holes correctly. The same with this one, with the corner drill jig. You can use the same drill jig for both sides, of course, because it's just mirror image, so you just hold it upside down and mount it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'll just print it all out and start assembling and see if it works.
I've made a little drilling jig for the corner posts. One hole stays the same, one hole is a completely new hole. We'll make the belt go parallel. Okay, so this is the Y drill jig for the Y plate. It fits in the two original holes and makes two holes on the other side. I don't need to make another one because of course this one will just fit on the bottom of this one because I made the holes symmetrical, of course. Okay, of course on the X rails these wheels did have a little bit of adjustment because they were attached with these V-slot nuts, so you could tighten them up a little bit, but that meant that if this was tight on the profile, that this wheel didn't do anything and might as well take it away. But it needs this kind of stability because you're going to get racking anyway with CoreXY, so it would be best to have this adjustable. So that's what we've done. As you can see, we're making progress. Now the steppers. I'm going to mount them like this. Like this. And should I put the cable this way? This way. And let's do it this way. Now there's a couple of things that are little details, like the fact that I put spaces between here and here just to make sure that when a belt goes across here, it hits the pulley at the right height. Because that was one of the problems I saw, that the belts were going up and down all the time. So these are exactly the right height, and then of course I had to put the same spacer here, but also a washer, because this plate is higher than this plate because of the spaces of the open build. As you can see, it can almost go across. This is 2 millimeters, so I made a 2 millimeter washer there. So the height of all these pulleys now is all the same. So that's that. Now, will it go parallel? That's the question. So, now which one is not parallel? I'm seeing a slight difference. I think the pulley that I dimensioned is slightly different than the pulley in real life. Because this is 1 centimeter, this is 12 millimeters, 30 millimeters. Yeah. And how's this? These 3 pulleys are nicely parallel with the profile, so that means I need to move this 3 millimeters that way. Okay, reprinting this. I'll be right back.
So what did I add? I made a column with supporting brackets, made a new mount for the drive steppers, the CoreXY steppers. I made a new print head and a plate that holds the belts securely. And I made new X and Y end stop with bumpers. Does it move? Yes, it does.